Welcome to Michigan in Focus, powered by thecentersquare.com. This episode features a piece by the Center Square's Terez Boudreau, headlined, quote, "Attorney General admits Michigan's minimum wage increase poses difficulties," end quote. Here's the story. Republican lawmakers are not the only ones raising concerns about Michigan's minimum wage changes. Attorney General Dana Nessel has filed a motion with the state's Supreme Court, asking for guidance on how to implement inflation adjustments. Nessel specifically pointed out how the court's broad language in its July ruling could lead to 5 possible options for when and how to adjust the minimum wage over time. With the State Department of Treasury's approach and the Department of Labor and Economic Opportunities approach also at odds with each other, Nessel wrote, quote, "Respectfully, the Michigan Department of Treasury has read this court's opinion in earnest and believes there exist ambiguities as to how to interpret and implement this court's directives in accounting for inflation for the graduated wages for the 2025 through 2028 time period. Clarification is needed on 1. How to calculate the inflation rate for 2025 through 2028, 2. The meaning of the term credit, 3. Whether the court intended to exclude the 90% graduated increase for tipped wages, and 4. The effective dates for each year's wage increases beginning in 2026, end quote. The minimum wage in Michigan is currently $10.33 per hour for non-tipped workers and $3.93 per hour for tipped workers. Following the Michigan Supreme Court's decision last month, the minimum wage will rise to at least $12 an hour starting February 21st. By 2025, employers must grant their employees 1 hour of earned sick leave per 30 hours worked. Tipped workers will receive the same minimum wage as non-tipped by 2029. Republicans oppose the changes, arguing that small businesses will be forced to raise prices and lay off workers. State Representative Matthew Byerline, a Republican from Vassar, highlighted Wednesday the results of a new survey of roughly 450 small and medium-sized business owners, using it to argue that the changes will spell economic disaster. Byerline said, quote, "Many local job providers throughout our region and the state are already moving in this direction and supporting their hardworking staff without court mandates. In February, that all goes out the window, and new burdensome directives will cause havoc for small business owners and artificially spike costs. These directives will force some to lay off their employees, cut hours, or close entirely. I have spoken with many business owners and employees who are scared about the effects these new measures will have," end quote. The new survey shows a 13-point drop since February in optimism among business owners about both short and long-term prospects. But 48% of respondents also reported they expect staffing levels to remain basically unchanged in the year ahead, and 43% expect an increase in their number of employees next year. Nessel has asked the court to rule on the motion by September 15th. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com. This podcast was made with the assistance of AI technology. Please subscribe and thanks for listening.